So what was the impetus to want to write this script initially?
Initially, I really just wanted to write something that was more personal. I'd been writing things that felt a little out there and, world building, and I just, I'm excited by a lot of, just weird, absurd filmmakers, and I was more doing that, and I was like, let me just do something that's grounded, let me do something that's, comes from the heart, and just see what happens. And, tell a story about, someone trying to figure out their identity, and just go from there.
One of the things I teach screenwriting, and one of the things I tell my students, you're always going to write personal, but you got to be hard on yourself. You have to be open and honest. What was the challenge of making sure if you can put yourself in there, that you have to kind of be hard yourself on your protagonist because you got to give them obstacles?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the further I got into the writing process, the more honest I had to be with myself in order to make the character interesting. I had to look at the worst sides of myself, the ways that I have failed, the things that haven't gone great, as well as the good stuff, in order to build a character and be, make it dynamic for an audience. It wasn't enough for me to just kind of spit out things that had happened in my life.
Now, since it's so personal and grounded, and as now we're switching to director hat, it must have made it easier for you to dealing with Alicia to kind of develop the character for her off the scripted page.
Yes, and there was a grounded place for it all to grow from. I had somewhere to go when we needed an answer, but honestly, building the character with Alicia took a lot of herself and her knowledge and what she wanted to do with it to take it off of the page. I really believe in actors getting to own their character and not placing it on top of them. So, we had that foundation, but she definitely grew her version of her. Sorry, I keep moving this around.
So that's a good lesson for screenwriting students. You have to let it go.
Yeah. Oh,
the actor has to take over.
Oh, it has to be theirs.
Guide them.
Yes, absolutely. Guide them and know where you're coming from, know what your intentions are, but absolutely trust them that they want to find the most meaningful and engaging part of that character and most truthful part for them. And if you let them do that, they'll just go everywhere with it. It's a joy.
One of the things I always thought, if you want to make a movie or TV show, always cast Christine Lahti. That's a good rule of thumb. It's a good rule of thumb. Just do that, and a lot of problems go away.
Most problems go away, frankly.
Collaborating with her,
she's fearless. She's amazing. She knows what she's doing before everybody else in the room does, and I don't know. I just loved working with her. She's a very giving performer. She's a very collaborative performer. She's patient. I mean, she's everything you could want in those ways before you get to the talent that comes out the other side.
So I find anytime you have comedic elements, the stronger the drama, the better the comedy. Obviously, it lets you free you up. So how did you balance when you're directing, making sure the comedy and drama kind of matched and worked together?
I just let it breathe. I did some improv, truly, on set, but I wanted there to be space. I did not want to place or force comedy. So, seeing it with a full audience tonight, I will be finding out in real time how much of that works and how much of it is, funny.
That's one of the beauty of Tribeca Film Festival. Of people working these kind of shows never get to see with an audience normally. It's one of the greatest gifts to be able to share it with an audience and feel their reaction.
I consider this my last day of work on the movie in some ways. I don't think you've actually understood what you've made, actually until way after you've made it, but it is a critical part of the process to sit with an audience, to hear them receive it, react to it, and to take notes, honestly, on how it goes.
Was there any particular scene that was most challenging to direct? Something like, ooh, this one was a hard one.
Fight stuff. There's a fight, and it's just hard. This is hard being like, fall down, look like you did this, like everyone's scared, So there was a lot of me miming things and everyone looking at me and being like, what are you talking about? And then we just did our best.
But the actors like fighting sometimes, so it's kind of fun for the actors to explore.
Yeah, we didn't have crash mats, so there were limits to what we could, how hard we could be on each other.
So no John Wick stuff falling off buildings and landing?
Unfortunately, we had to cut all of the gun scenes.
Yeah, the gun scenes.
In the middle of the road, that all got cut. So.
We're going to go back to the beginning. When you first initially read the screenplay, what was your gut reaction that really drew you to the character?
Wow, I thought this character is so unlikable and so challenging, and I didn't really understand her until I did a lot of research about narcissistic personality disorder and how those people are not really they don't really have high self-esteem. They actually have very low, and they're very insecure. So they can't take any criticism, and they can't take any blame. So studying that disorder really helped me into the character.
And it must help you ground you in the dramatic elements to give you some kind of humanity or two, to find the humanity.
Yeah, I wanted to find her, her humanity, and not that I didn't want to play a villain, and I can't. Right. I have to find out, how she sees the world, and she's very insecure and really felt abandoned, I think, when growing up herself. So it's hard for her to take any blame for anything.
When you have such a well-rounded drama character, beautiful written character, how fun is it then to do the comedy? Because you have the foundation,
yes.
Now you can kind of jump into the comedy and have some, fun with it.
Oh, it's so much fun. That's another thing I loved about the script, is that there's so much drama, but also a lot of comedy. I really enjoyed that.
And I will argue the comedy doesn't work if we don't care or understand the character dramatically. You don't
right.
have that dramatic, or we're not enjoying you playing the comedic elements.
Well, exactly. And I think the more real it is and the more human people are, the funnier they are. Yeah.
And what was the process of working with Alicia in the film?
Alicia was incredible. She's right there, looking amazing. She's a wonderful actress, and we really had a great time together. Carving out this very complex relationship.
And it must help having the director who's also the writer and had some personal experience help you kind of find the character too.
She was great.
Yeah,
she was very helpful. Well, she wrote it, so she knew, and also I think it's kind of loosely based on her mom, so I think that helped. She had a lot of insight into the character.